Do you often find yourself consumed, distracted, or disturbed by out of control thoughts that say you're not good enough, by fears of failure or a sense of impending doom? Perhaps your churning brain keeps you awake at night, miserable with anticipation of the coming day, or with regrets over things you've done or have failed to do. You are not alone. What I've been describing is the negative side of internal dialogue, or self-talk. While self-talk doesn't have to be a bad thing, it can sometimes accelerate negatively out of our control, and when it does, it can take on the power to undermine, degrade, and even debilitate us. This plays a large part in whether the emotions we experience are facilitative to processing and healing, or whether they become debilitative, exerting their own control over our actions, moods, and attitudes. World-renowned meditation teacher Eckhart Tolle calls this out-of-control negativity the pain body, and says of it, quote, "Some pain bodies are obnoxious but relatively harmless, for example, like a child who won't stop whining. Others are vicious and destructive monsters, true demons," end quote. When hounded by this agitating inner voice, it can be difficult to find a moment's peace, let alone accomplish our life's goals. Don Miguel Ruiz is a Mexican Toltec spiritual teacher and author of the book The Four Agreements. This issue is addressed in the first agreement, "Be impeccable with your word." To quote Don Ruiz, with minor paraphrasing for continuity, quote, "Your word is the power you have to create. You can create the most beautiful dream, or your word can destroy everything around you. Being impeccable with your word means to use it in the direction of truth and love for yourself. Whether it originates from outside us or within, whenever we hear an opinion and believe it, we make an agreement and it becomes part of our belief system. We talk to ourselves constantly, and most of the time we say hurtful, derogatory things. Do you see how we use the word against ourselves? We must begin to understand what the word is and what the word does." End quote. In the chapter, The Second Agreement, Don't Take Anything Personally, he goes further, quote, "Even the opinions you have about yourself are not necessarily true. Therefore, you don't have to take whatever you hear in your own mind personally." End quote. This is the good news. You can reprogram your brain to support you with calm and confidence rather than feeding you self-destructive running commentary. Realize that by talking to yourself, you are creating the internal world in which you must live, and yet you don't have to believe everything your brain tells you. When you have distinguished yourself as the listener and the sound of your internal voice as something akin to the rumbling of an automobile's engine, you will be freed from identification with the content of your thoughts and will find it much easier to take them less seriously or alter them when they become damaging to you. As a notable nonprofit health organization, the Mayo Clinic notes that chronic negative thinking can bring on serious health problems, but that we may bring it under control by employing self-kindness and being ready to substitute negativity with affirmative internal language. Quote, "Don't say anything to yourself that you wouldn't say to anyone else. Be gentle and encouraging with yourself. If a negative thought enters your mind, evaluate it rationally and respond with affirmations of what is good about you." End quote. They also offer examples, such as replacing "it's too complicated" with "I'll tackle it from a different angle." Relief can also be found by creating a still presence within ourselves. In November 2014, Scientific American described mindfulness meditation, also called open monitoring meditation, as, quote, "observing sights, sounds, and other sensations, including internal bodily sensations and thoughts, without being carried away by them," end quote. And they report that practicing meditation can affect physical changes to the brain. Researchers found that mindfulness meditation caused a significant decrease in activity in the brain regions associated with anxiety. As the great philosopher and Zen teacher Alan Watts described it, quote, "When somebody plays music, you listen. You follow those sounds and understand the music. You understand that the point is the music itself. In exactly the same way, you can listen to all experiences," end quote. The best thing about this form of meditation is that you can start right now, right this moment. Pay heightened attention now to the sound of my voice. Feel the air on your skin. Be aware of gravity's weight on your body and the firmness of the ground beneath you. And just like that, you're practicing mindfulness meditation. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here peddling a religion or pushing any pill. This message is simple. Your brain is a tool that belongs to you. It is not your master. You are something greater than your chattering language center, and you have untapped power at your disposal. You can reprogram your brain. There are numerous techniques available to you, and you may try several before you discover what's best for you. But the first and most essential key to your success is hope.